Say, alright, so first and foremost, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kakadash. We said amongst our personal elders, agreements, and reward, teachers of personal truth, and we see salutations, so they are coming to push with no truth and sincerity, day in and day out, and constantly in season or that season, we say Shalom. And once again, going into our video here, and just basically touching upon this article. Now, before going to the article, I'd like to say something. Pay attention to what's going on in the news. Pay attention to all the news, in matter of fact. There's a bunch of stuff happening, right? A lot of stuff, and the scriptures talk about being occupied. Matter of fact, let me get that. To be occupied in prophecies, right? I'm going to go to the book of Sirach, right? The book of Sirach, chapter 39, verse 1. It says, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecies. And that is how it's supposed to be, especially the time that we are in. Knowing the time that we are in, as a matter of fact, you have to be occupied in prophecies, right? Because every single day, you're going on news page, you're going on news, you're reading articles, you may be on some social media platform, you're seeing some sort of prophecy happening, rather it be as we're going into here, the MOTV, rather it be famines, rather it be plagues, rather it be some talks about WW3, rather it be the agendas as the other things being fulfilled, and so forth and so on. There's a lot of stuff once you're occupied in prophecies, it's happening, it's being talked about, right? So that's what the scriptures say. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies, right? And be occupied in prophecies. And we know a man of the Lord, that's how he's supposed to be. Supposed to be occupied in prophecies and always watching, because that is what the Lord set us up to be, watchmen, right? Not like these guys who saying it's June, ain't no microchip, right? Now today is we in what, August, right? And there's a lot of stuff coming out about the microchips or chipping, matter of fact, right? Even though he said that some years ago, it's something that we still laugh and talk about, because it's coming, right? It's coming, and no matter how much times people try to deny it, hey, it's right in front of you. They try to deny the MOTV, the chipping. They try to deny the cashless societies and all this rest of stuff. But with that being said, let me read this article. It's a new Stanford researchers develop brain implant capable of decoding inner speech in real time, bringing society closer to an era of brain transparency, right? And the article itself, right? The article itself, they change the image. So you see this image that they have a brain inside of a case with a chip there. They actually change the image, because the image yesterday was a head with a brain inside of it. You're seeing the brain, but there were a surveillance camera inside of it. They must remove it, because why? People are starting to question it. But nonetheless, to say in real time, bringing society closer to an era. Right now, let's pay attention to the words that they're using. In real time, bringing society closer to an era of brain transparency, right? So as it say, a brain implant capable of decoding inner speech. And that, again, this is ESO and the trickery that they continue to do. They make things seem and they make things sound so nice, right? Like if it's problem decoding speech in a speech. We have something here that they could take. They bring forth these false miracles, and again, Jay going on fall for this to show. These tutors, they're going on a rush and take these things, right? Because it will seem so nice, and worse yet, the Esau doing it, Esau bringing it. They love the things that Esau bring. They love to follow the enemy. So let me bring a precept here, right? The book of Sirach, chapter 14. And I'll read from let me go straight to verse 5. It says, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he do good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. There is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. Verse 7, and if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. So yeah, so say if he do it good, he do it unwillingly. They make these things seem so good to take, but we know that they have agenda to fulfill, right? So at the last, at the scripture say, and at the last he will declare his wickedness, and that's right. At the last he will declare. You will understand at the last the purpose of why they want to microchip everyone. Why you're hearing guys like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and all these sorts of guys talking about chipping the whole world. I believe it was Musk who said that by the ending of 2025, everyone should have a chip inside of them, or should have a chip inside of them, something along those lines, right? I believe you could type it up and you'll be able to find it. He was one of the guys that one of his major companies is what, Neuralink, right? Neuralink. I think he's on his well, 8 patients that is on main media, and there could be more. No, so there is more, right? They might tell you 8, but it's like 80, right? And there are many other companies that are actually implementing these things, the implants in real time. There are certain companies where you have to enter into the doors, enter into the compound. You have to have this thing inside of you. You could go and look that up. Recently, I did a video on a guy swiping his hand to enter into, not his house, I think it's company or something along those lines, right? So you're seeing the chip is being promoted, is being talked about, is being, hey, people are taking it, right? So let's go. But going back to the surah, I could say, and if you do it good, you do it unwillingly. Yeah, because why? Is this an evil man you're dealing with? And that is Esau, a wicked and evil man. Why would you trust? The scripture talk about not trusting the enemy. Why would we trust our enemy would put in a chip inside of you, right? Someone said it a time back, and it was basically they were talking, they were answering back Elon Musk. He's stating, why would I trust a man putting a chip inside of me that literally shuts down his cars, you know? And that's a serious thing. But we know at the end of the day, this thing is going to become mandatory. You would have to have this inside of it to operate in society going into the prophecy. So that's what the scripture says to do what? Be occupied in prophecies, right? So, let me go to the article here and then I'll read some of the comments. Just pause it for 2 seconds while it's load. Right, so continuing here, I'm going through a little internet problem, but nonetheless, as you can see, this is a request catalog, but they're showing a video here with someone that actually have a implant in them, right? Let me pause again and see if I get this internet to work. All right, I believe let me come back a little bit here. Let me read this a little bit. It's a inner speech in motor cortex and implications for speech neuro thesis, right? It's a attempted versus inner speech BCI used by patient T16, right? So you can see there's a patient and most likely have that in a chip, right? It's the clinical trial participant T16 Emory University clinical study site, right? Is this saturated with some volunteer. Let's take a pause from. Yeah, some of these words I know I'm butchering, but let's say first we show the T16 attempted to speak. Note it is articulatory movements, right? So I'm gonna play it. So you can see most likely she have the implants, I don't know why I'm not hearing any audio though. That's the only thing. Let's see. Right, volume up. The easy thing about this is that you'll continue to get catch. This it seems like what they will call a scientific breakthrough, right? Or a medical field breakthrough, because why they're implanting something to someone that may not be able to speak, or may not be able to talk, or along those lines, and now that the person can, it sounds like a medical breakthrough, a scientific breakthrough. And hey, as the scriptures say, at the last he shall what declares wickedness. So yeah, his purpose is not really to help you. He have a deeper purpose. The true purpose of why he want to make everyone have this implant, right? So you see, she using the chip in the head to do them stuff, right? So let's go on. It says Stanford scientists developed brain implant capable of decoding inner speech. It says Stanford researchers advanced brain computer interface BCI technology by decoding inner speech internal monologue with implants reading neural signals in four people with survey. Four, right? But yeah, guys who's saying it's June ain't no microchip, but there are four people with implants here, and they're just four in this um in this thing. There should be more. And knowing Esau, there's always more, right? They say with implants reading neural signals in four people with severe movement disorders. Unlike past devices requiring strenuous attempts to vocalize the system, decoded silently, imagine words joined from a 125,000 word vocabulary with real-time accuracy rates ranging from 46% to 74%. And that is, hey, that is the trick right, so, making it seem good that they can be able to take, right? Right? How you believe in what? How you believe in what? A lie, right? This as you can see, this is this is the image here. You see the implant. You see the implant right there. They say inner speech with a smaller version of attempted speech in motor cortex, right? Right here, right? Let's go here, right? Attempted speech, inner speech, right? So you see the inner speech here, the outer speech outside, right? It's a two. It's a BCI can decode inner speech in real time. So you're thinking it, hello, and it will be put out on the screen, right? It will be put out on the screen. So while you're thinking it in your mind, it coming out here. Sorry. Hello. It's a private inner speech is represented in motor cortex by unintentional decoding can be prevented. And that goes to show how deep Esau do the search, how deep they go into the technologies and so forth, to the witchcraft, the sorcery, right? To the fact where your thoughts come into words. You understand? This is standard training, inner speech, and weight training, and an accidental decoding rate, right? I say the study confirmed that the motor cortex activity is similar during both attempted and inner speech, though inner speech produces weaker signals. By isolating those signals, researchers translated internal sentences into audio, enabling speech without movement. And again, people would fall to that. They would fall for that trickery that Esau putting out. Um, This is the book of Psalms, chapter 55, and I'm going to read from verse. Let me read from verse 20. It says, He had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He had broken his covenant. Right? It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Yeah, so his words The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, right? Yeah, you know. That's the thing about Esau. Them talking, hey, they talk good, you know, make you really feel that they come to help. What script I'm looking for? Wasn't that one Psalms, but another scripture. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 10, verse verse 7. It says his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud, right? Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. So why would we trust this guy, right? But again, it's still his mouth is full of cursing and deceit, and as a whole set of deception is to move by, right? That serpent tongue that they have, right? So it's a one participant had nearly 99% accuracy using a mental password, chitty chitty bang bang, to enable or disable the system a breakthrough against involuntary decoding of private thoughts. Yo, hey, we saw different. You see, the technology revealed cases of unintended inner speech, such as counting shapes, raising red flags around cognitive privacy. In response, the team implemented privacy safeguards, including filtering out inner speech data and requiring user intent to initiate decoding. Right? It says lead researcher Kunz acknowledged ethical risks, but emphasized the focus remains on aiding people who can speak. However, experts warn that expanding capabilities bringing society closer to an era of brain transparency where unspoken thoughts could be exposed. Right? So yeah, does it talk about an era? However, experts warn that expanding capabilities bring society closer to an era of brain transparency. And we know we in that era that they're implementing these ships. We in that time with the putting these ships inside of people. There's so much of companies, so much of top men, talking about these things, talking about this, pushing it. We see the Past Genius Act, we see the AI, the stable coin, all this other stuff we are seeing happening, right? We see them talking about the 15 minute cities, swipe and go, all these things, right? Again, emphasizing the time that we are in, how serious it is, right? How serious it is, right? Hey, so once again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yoshai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. We said about some personal elders, agreements, and rule, teachers of personship, and we see salutations, so they are coming to push you with no truth and sincerity, day in and day out, and constantly in season or season. We say Shalom. You know what? Most likely, I might do a part 2 to this video, coming back to read some of the comments, right? Some of the comments here, and let me hear what some people have to say or what they think about it, right? Someone mentioned, so a world worse than Orwell's 1984. Whoa. And if for George Orwell, if you listen to the Orwellian society, you could look that up and see what it goes into, right? But nonetheless, until next time, we say Shalom.